Greetings friends, it is Kensho here. Today I'm going to share with you the fundamentals of spiritual enlightenment and how to attain it. You will see that it isn't a mystery at all. No, I tell you, it is something that is really possible. Now, when I talk about spiritual enlightenment, I'm talking about the complete cessation of the root of suffering, and that is ignorance. So I'm talking about the complete cessation of ignorance. Because when ignorance is no more, there will be true peace and there will be contentment. I understand that when you hear these big words, the complete cessation of the root of suffering, maybe it sounds impossible, right? It sounds as something mysterious, something that is so far out of your reality. But actually, the opposite is true. It's quite natural and easy. I tell you, you don't need to study the Gita for years or going to the Himalayas. I tell you, you don't need any special yoga practice. You only need to be willing to listen. The desire to listen to the words. To hear the message fully. Absorb it completely. And be brutally honest with yourself. I tell you, enlightenment is absolutely possible. Whether you are a newbie on the spiritual path or a scholar who studied the Gita, the Upanishads, other Vedantic scriptures, the scriptures of the Buddha. It is for everybody, really. So as I said, the root of suffering is ignorance, but it is a real specific ignorance. It is an ignorance where you don't clearly see what is fundamentally real and that what is false. Now the real is the now. It is this present life, this present happening. No, it is the camera. It is the sound of my voice. The sounds that I hear from outside. It is this present happening, and it seems to be as a multiplicity of sensations. But it isn't. It is one present happening. Now, and the false is a projection about how you want life to be, or how life should be. And when you don't clearly see the real, this life, and your projections of how things should be, they are getting mixed up. The real and the false are getting mixed up. Actual life is getting mixed up with your projections. So it happens that you want life to be different than it actually is. You want life to be according to some ideal, some greater and better ideal. Now I remember when I was 18 years old. I tell you, I really had a problem with this. I really wanted to get rid of my introvert nature. Well, a lot of the time I was just an introvert guy. That was me. And maybe you desire to be just as peaceful as your spiritual or as your favorite spiritual teacher. But you know what? You have your own vibe. Maybe you're not as peaceful as him, but you have your own peace, your own way of being. Or maybe you want to restore the relationship with your father. But he doesn't care at all. What happens here is that you simply don't clearly see. No, you want to get away from what actually is and have that ideal instead. You try to replace the real for the false. You're mixing up life with a projection. I tell you, as long as there is this ignorance, there will be that craving for that ideal. you will be needy for something different, for something else. And of course, it is for happiness and peace only. But it won't bring you peace. I tell you, it won't bring you peace. Because this movement of neediness and craving, it is the wheel of samsara itself. And I tell you, within this wheel of samsara, there will be fear. There will be feelings of incompleteness. And there will be suffering. No, there will be fear when you yearn for an ideal, but you are uncertain if it will happen. The suffering, there will be suffering when you don't get what you're yearning for. And again, and as a reaction to that, you become angry or you become sad. And the feeling of incompleteness, you will feel incomplete. Because that ideal that you crave for, you're not as good at that ideal. I tell you, all of this is essentially an outcome of that ignorance. It is an outcome of your ignorance. I'm not saying that you're dumb, but you just don't clearly see that this is actual life and that is a projection. That's the only point. That's the only ignorance I'm talking about. So what can you do now? Is there a solution? Is there a remedy? Yes, there is. You need absolute clarity. Seeing that only actual life, this now, is real. And that every idea about how life should be is totally false. Take the stars at night. Aren't those stars precisely as they are? And isn't every idea about how those stars should be, isn't it false? Now when you are tired from a hard day of work, isn't that feeling of tiredness just precisely as it is? And isn't every idea that feeling of tiredness, that it shouldn't be, isn't it false? Now see these things as they are. See the real as the real and the false as the false. That's the only clarity that you need. I tell you, it is with this clarity that the whole internal structure of wanting life to be different, it falls apart. It loses all its substance and it loses all its power completely. You know why? Simply because life isn't supposed to be some ideal. No, life has its own way. And that way is this way. I tell you, this clarity makes that the urge to determine how life should be, it will completely stop. And there is no more drive. When that is gone, there is no more drive to create conflict, no more fuel for suffering, for fear or incompleteness. No, suffering can't be if you don't come in a position where you can't get the very thing that you're yearning for. Incompleteness can exist if you don't yearn to be as some ideal. So, it is ignorance that is the root of suffering. And when ignorance is no more, but when there is total clarity instead, there will be true peace. A deep contentment that is unconditional. Really, and I tell you, it is absolutely possible for you. It is possible for you. Sometimes I want to just stand on my soapbox and screaming, enlightenment is possible. It is really possible. Peace is truly possible. Unconditional peace, it is possible. So, again, I thank you for watching this video. Yes. And by the way, on my new website, kenchoteachings.org. I have a new free ebook that you can download. The Way to Clarity and Spiritual Enlightenment. It will be beneficial for you on your spiritual path. So give it a try. You will see. Bless and love. I thank you.